Commission is hereby called to order for its regularly scheduled meeting of March the 26th, 2026. My name is Cindy Grivich Tucker, and I'm the chair of the commission. Mr. Ragsdale serves as executive secretary of the commission. Mr. Ragsdale, may I have a roll call?
Thank you, Madam Chair. And if you don't mind, I would like to flip a couple of things here and do a secretary's report before I do the roll call. Sure. And that's because we have two new commissioners joining us today. And so we have Ms. Judith Johnson joining us and Ms. Olivia Wall. And so they are replacing Joy Doss and Felicia Boyd. And so we thank Felicia and Joy for all their years of service and the great work that they've done on the commission. And we would like to thank Judith and Olivia for joining us and for their service as well. So, and I think y'all have all met, and we look forward to continue to work with everybody. So,
thank you.
And with that, I'll do the roll call. Mr. Gill? Here. Ms. Johnson? Yes. Ms. Rainwater? Here. Ms. Tolbert? Here. Ms. Wall? Here. Chair Tucker?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. The Memphis Landmarks Commission and the local historic district provisions are established to ensure preservation of structures that are of historic value to Memphis. Our function is to preserve significant resources, enhance community pride, and foster civic beauty, and ensure compatibility within designated historic districts. The Commission is authorized to review projects and determine their appropriateness based on the design review guidelines. At this time, I would like to swear the staff in. You may remain seated. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay, thank you. May I get a motion to approve the minutes from last month's meeting?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The motion passes. Mr. Secretary, please explain to us, excuse me, you've already done that, the Secretary's report, and then explain the procedure for this meeting.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The procedure for this meeting will be as follows. I will introduce each case as listed on the agenda. Copies of the agenda are found on the right podium. For each case, staff of the Division of Planning and Development will give a presentation. At the conclusion of the staff presentation, the applicant will have 5 minutes to present his or her case. After the applicant's presentation, the Commission will hear first from those speakers in support of the application, then from those speakers in opposition to the application, and the speakers will have 3 minutes each, and then finally the applicant will have 3 minutes to provide rebuttal. These times do not include time for questions from and answers to members of the Commission. The Chair may provide additional time provided both sides are given an equal amount of additional time. All parties who wish to provide testimony to the Commission will be sworn in by the Chair. If a member of the audience wishes to provide testimony in support of or in opposition to a particular case on today's agenda, he or she will need to fill out a speaker's card for the record. Speaker's cards are available at the front podium. Once filled out, speaker's cards can be submitted to any DPD planner at the left podium. We do not need speaker's cards from the applicant since their names are already part of the record. After all parties have been heard, the Commission will close the public hearing, make a motion, and then deliberate on the case. All motions by this Commission will be made in the affirmative. The bylaws governing the Commission require the affirmative vote of a majority of the attending members to approve an application. The Commission may also vote to hold an application for a period of 1 month. Madam Chair, I submit that all cases have been filed in proper order, all applicants have been notified of this hearing, and all notice requirements have been fulfilled.
Okay, thank you. At this point, the Commission will establish a consent agenda. To establish the consent agenda, the Secretary will call out each eligible case. If any member of the audience or Commission objects to the case being placed on the consent agenda, he or she should do so by a show of hands when the Secretary reads the case. Once the consent agenda is established, the Commission will vote on all cases placed on the agenda as a whole and will not hold individual public hearings on each case. Mr. Secretary, which items are eligible?
Thank you, Madam Chair, and let the record show that Mr. Walker has joined us as well. And we have one case for the consent agenda, and that's item number 3, CLA 2026-019, 661 North Belvedere Boulevard in the Valentine Evergreen Historic District.
Okay, thank you. May I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as established by the Secretary?
So moved.
Can I have a second? Second. I would like to remind the Commission that by voting on the consent agenda, he or she affirms that he or she has read the staff report and is in full agreement with the conditions. Mr. Secretary, may I have a roll call?
Mr. Gill? Ms. Johnson. Ms. Rainwater.
Yes.
Ms. Tolbert.
Yes.
Mr. Walker.
Yes.
Ms. Wall. Chair Tucker.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. If you were here for any of those cases or the case just listed on the consent agenda, you have been approved. You do not need to remain at the meeting, but are welcome to stay for the remainder of the cases. At this point, I would like to state that the minor COA applications as listed on the agenda have been reviewed and approved by the commission. The commission will now continue with the regular hearing of the major COA applications as listed on the agenda. Mr. Secretary, may I have the first case?
Item number 2, COA 2026-017, 1061 North Avalon Street in the Valentine Evergreen Historic District.
Is the applicant present?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, could you state your name and address for the record?
Alejandro Sanchez,
Address,
address of the project,
home address.
2072 Elzey Avenue, Memphis, Tennessee 38104.
Okay, thank you. Raise your right hand, please. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you. Do we have any opposition to this case? Okay. Have you seen the staff report?
Have I seen staff before?
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Okay, are you in agreement with the staff report?
If I'm in an agreement?
Yes. With all of their,
Yes.
okay. Do we need to see the presentation?
Well, Madam Chair, we are not recommending anything for this
Okay.
case, so I think we need to
see the, yeah.
see the staff report.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Aisha Penzis with Division of Planning and Development. Subject properties 1061 North Avalon in Valentine Evergreen Historic District. Applicant obtained a COA approval last year in May to build a one-story single-family home, and the building permit was issued last year in July. And during construction, some changes were made that did not follow the COA approval and the permit that was issued last year. Most importantly, the foundation walls were built very low and currently do not meet the required minimum height of 18 inches. We noted other issues such as existing roof form, bend above the window on the front facade, location of the HVAC unit, siding reveal, gable face materials, etc. Some of these issues were corrected by the applicant. HVAC unit was relocated to allow full use of the driveway. And the most recent photo that was submitted by the applicant shows that the porch supports and gable materials were corrected to match the approval conditions. However, the main issue, the foundation height, remains. The applicant is proposing to build a new wall around the front porch to obscure the view of the foundation wall to address this issue. Because this is a retroactive changes to approved COA, staff refrains from making any recommendations to the commission, and we defer to the commission's decision. However, if request is approved, we recommend that the commission consider the conditions listed in the staff report. This concludes my presentation. I would be happy to answer any questions.
Questions for staff? Anybody? Okay. Did you want to make a statement?
Well, it won't happen again, that's for sure.
How did it happen?
Huh?
How did it happen?
So it was a framer. So we have one framer that's doing currently like 30 projects right now, and he got confused with the plans.
You mean your framer's pouring your slabs also?
Oh no. Oh.
The slab is the bigger
Oh,
issue.
that's like, yeah, so we have like 3 different concrete guys, and we were trying out a new guy, but now that guy, he's fired.
I mean, but do y'all not inspect the slab prior to building the house?
Yes, so recently we just created a system. Every contractor, when they finish, we created a checklist for our handymans to check before pouring any concrete or pouring a framing inspection. We created a checklist. That way it doesn't happen again.
Okay, it's pretty obvious.
Yes.
I mean, it's not like a small mistake.
Yes.
All right.
Have you been in historic districts before?
Have I been here before?
Have you built in historic districts before?
Yes. Yes, I have.
Have you been in front of us with any issues?
What were one of the issues?
Were there any issues before us?
Before this project? 1125 Rayner.
Okay.
Yes.
Any other questions? Okay. So, did you want to say anything else, or?
That's it.
Okay.
It won't happen again, that's for sure.
Okay. Is that for this one? Okay. Okay, we have, Karen Edwards. Could you come to this, you can sit down for a second.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Karen Edwards. Do I need to give any information?
Address.
1887 South Rainbow Drive, Memphis, 30107.
You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, you have 3 minutes.
Okay, so this particular applicant did come to the design review meeting, and I know Valentine Evergreen and others, and myself personally, did send in letters to Memphis Landmarks Commission, to the staff and the staff planner. So it's just, and I think there were a couple of people here that were on that call that day, but it's just really unfortunate that we keep having like applicants build and not abide by the guidelines set. So, you know, I know I did speak to the staff planner for this ahead of time, and they've agreed to do some things to rectify. So just whatever we can do to like enforce people before the job is completed. And I know that's a big ask, but that's just our position right now with applications that are like this, and this particular one specifically. Are there any questions? I apologize, I got pulled over.
Are you finished?
Trying to get here.
You finished with your statement?
I couldn't hear you.
Are you finished with your statement?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right, y'all have questions for? Any questions? Okay.
Okay, well, thank you. I appreciate your time.
Thank you. Okay. All right, so now we'll close the public hearing unless you have a rebuttal, sir. Oh, is this another? Who's she?
You can go.
Okay. Did you want to make you have a 3-minute rebuttal if you want to make another statement?
Sorry,
You have excuse me if I get too close, it sounds that way. You have time if you want to address her concerns.
No, I don't have anything to say.
Okay, thank you, then that's fine. Okay, at this time that I'll close the public hearing portion of this case, to open it for commissioners to further discuss. May I have a motion?
Motion to approve COA 2026-0176, 1061 North Avalon Street, Valentine Evergreen Historic District.
Okay, a second, please.
Second.
Okay. Now you can sit and listen. We're talking to each other now.
I find this always frustrating, this slab thing. We hit these every couple of months. It makes no sense to me. I am very tempted to want to tear a house down. I know that sounds crazy, but we have the right to say, start over. I'm not suggesting we do that. I think it really gets y'all. I think it gets everybody to waste brand new building materials. But I mean, what? How can you build? How can you not know or check? So that's it. I don't know. Obviously, the remedies you suggest are fine, but it is a man.
It's a let's do it and forgive again.
It is a let's do it and forgive again over and over again. I really want to tear one down one sometime.
Are you on?
Do we know how much this builder builds around town?
Quite a bit. So, I mean, he said if they got 30 projects under, I guess it doesn't necessarily mean that they're all here, but I mean, I agree with you. If you're checking, somebody would have noticed that wasn't an 18-inch foundation before the framing went up, before the siding went on, before. Yeah. But
So, Brett, do you guys work or coordinate with the inspections for code enforcement? Because usually there's a foundation inspection before things are poured and everything. Is there some communications with code enforcement about enforcing this in historic districts?
Yes, there is, and we've continued to work on that process, and there are a lot fewer issues. This one did get through. I will say on this one there is a slope, and on the north side there is 18 inches, and on the other, so but this still should have been caught, and so but we are continuing to work with them. And I will say this image actually shows it's compliant except for the slab, because our inspectors did catch several other things that were not compliant. So they are continuing to improve on that and catch other things. So what you're seeing is the image of them actually changing the columns, changing the siding, putting the vents up on the gable. None of that was done either. And so, it's a process that we hate that anything gets through, and we're going to continue to work on that. So
When they submit to you on the get-go, at the beginning, what was in the plan?
the plans were compliant with the COA.
Okay.
Because we checked that. We check every one of them.
Yeah, I figured you did. I just wanted that statement to
Yep.
be
well,
there.
I mean, like you said, you can see some of the other pictures in the packet. You can see on the side where it is above. It just, they didn't take the slope into account to get, so you would have had 18 inches in the front and a lot more in the back.
Did
And
they,
the sides,
did they, or
but-
did they just do that and hope that we would forgive them?
Oh, well, I mean, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I'm just saying
you
that
can see the.
Yeah.
yeah, I'm not saying that it was correct by any means. It's just
Well, and in your drawings that were submitted, they were submitted with the proper height,
correct.
all the way around.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you guys were under the assumption that they were in line with the guidelines.
Correct.
Got a question? Could we make them grade the yard?
And we have done that in some instances. In some places, it's more feasible. There is also a code requirement for the amount of slab that has to be under the grade for freeze thaw. So, this one, that's where we thought, and actually, if you could go back to the photo of the knee wall, again, it is a retrofit solution after the fact. It's not what we want to see, but this is what we felt like. Instead of trying to grade, do some things that would actually maybe end up with a worse situation, this is kind of the best option we felt like was to get to a place where it was the best solution we could come up with at the moment.
Is there a picture of it from farther away where we can maybe see the surrounding area
that's-
at all?
Well,
Okay.
these are the two pictures that I have,
Okay.
but about grading, the issue is basically on the driveway side, because like Ms. Tolbert noted, the other side looks to have foundation height that is close to 18 inches. But on the driveway side, the concrete of the driveway kind of ties into the foundation wall concrete. So it's impossible to grade this side without completely ripping off the driveway that was poured. That's why we didn't make any recommendation to grade it.
Is that their driveway?
Yes, this is their driveway,
Okay.
right here.
And the street also slopes, it continues sloping up, so the next property is sloping up even more. So, you know, you can continue to kind of snowball as the problem. There are potentially other solutions, but you have to take all those things into consideration in the surrounding adjacent properties. And
Does this particular builder have any other, at this time, buildings he's doing in historic districts, to your knowledge?
I mean,
I
I'm
think,
not sure if we have current projects. We had past projects
Yeah. That's what
that
I
are
thought.
under construction right now.
yeah, so there are some under construction, and then I don't know if there are any currently in the COA process, but
And everything is in compliance of, is that what you're?
yes, I believe so. There was one other that
Yeah,
had
there
some
was one
issues that
other.
they've corrected,
Okay.
the same as this. Like you see the columns, the
Yeah.
siding, and all those things that they've corrected.
Okay. Any, okay. Did y'all want to talk to us? I mean,
I'm good with the recommendations by planning. I don't know what else you do. Unless you'll have some. We are gonna tear one down sometime.
Is that legal?
To what's that?
Is that legal? I mean, it's not a bad solution. You do one,
Never
it's
do it
probably
again.
gonna set the.
Word would get out.
The word would get out.
We can do it. We can do it. So, but we have avoided that based on just the waste that comes along with it.
Right.
But yeah, doesn't that sound fun?
Sounds like it would set a nice example.
It would be quite an example.
It would send a message. I'm good with the recommendations by planning if y'all are.
okay. Any other down there? You good? Okay.
As long as next time though, we might tear one down.
That's
They
right.
do it again, that builder especially.
Yeah. Yeah, don't come in front.
Yeah.
We're not changing anything, correct?
Not that we've discussed, so I think
We
if you're
call
ready
for-
for a vote,
Uh-huh.
okay.
Brett,
Wait,
are they going to?
somebody
approve
wants
the
something.
conditions that we recommend?
And can you just clear, because we didn't make a recommendation, but we do have conditions that we were recommending. So the vote is for approval with the recommendations that we had.
Correct.
Okay.
This includes the meeting hall, right?
Yes. Without objection?
Yeah.
Without objection.
Okay. All right. All right, I'll call the vote. Mr. Walker?
Yes.
Ms. Johnson?
Yes.
Ms. Rainwater?
Yes.
Ms. Tolbert?
Yes.
Ms. Wall? Mr. Gill?
Yes.
Chair Tucker?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. And sir, keep hold of all your projects, because if you've listened to what we're saying up here, don't come in front of us. I mean, seriously. Okay. We'll remember you. Thank you. Okay. Done? Okay. Is the next applicant present?
Yeah, you ready for the next case? Yes.
Yeah.
Our next case is item number 4, COA 2026-020, 1682 York Avenue in the Central Gardens Historic District.
Okay, is the applicant present? Okay. State your name and address, please.
Rebecca Conrad, 1500 Union Avenue, Memphis, 38104.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay, thank you. And you've read,
Yes, ma'am.
okay, and you want to make any kind of a statement?
Yes. So as far as the recommendations go, we do not take issue with anything but number 1, which is requiring full floor plan, site plan, engineering report of the building. And I say that because it's not in the best shape, and getting those dimensions and documenting everything that's wanted in item number 1 is going to be very difficult. And if it's going to be demolished, I don't understand the point of that.
Okay.
We have submitted a report from another architect that does outline all the issues with the building. The building was designed as a convent, and sadly, we don't have a lot of nuns anymore, and it's not, it looks like a single-family home, but it's not. And going inside, there's a lot of 10-foot wide dorm rooms. There's multi-stall bathrooms. It's just not easily converted to a single-family home. And the diocese does not need a single-family home at that location. So their intent is to take this property down. They do want to, in the future, come back with a residential type structure that is sensitive to the area to house retired priests in. And we have site plans that show that. There is no intention for a parking lot to go where the convent currently is. It's going to be green space. They've had meetings with the neighborhood, and the neighborhood is in agreement with their plans and does want the green space in that area.
Okay, thank you. May we have the staff report?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Subject property is located in Cathedral of Immaculate Conception campus, formerly used as a convent and then a preschool building. It was built in 1910. The structure is considered contributing to Central Gardens National Register District. The applicant is proposing to demolish the structure, and the site plan provided by the applicant is showing the structure to be demolished, crossed out on the left lower corner. However, the application did not include a proposed site plan showing the future plans for the site. The Central Gardens design guidelines include a decision tree regarding the demolition and relocation applications within the district. Based on this decision tree, subject structure should be preserved in place because it is a significant structure that retains its structural integrity and historic context. Design guidelines further outline the criteria and requirements for demolition applications. Based on the guidelines, this structure should be preserved in place, and we didn't receive any reasoning for its demolition. Therefore, we recommend rejection of the application. However, if approved, we recommend the conditions listed here. And this concludes my presentation. I would be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you. Questions for staff?
Has it been considered that they could build the retired priest home, not build, refurbish this house, gut it, redo it from the inside, if the structure is sound?
Well, we didn't receive an engineer's report to determine that the structure is to be demolished or required, needs to be demolished because of the structural issues. The design guidelines and our section in the Unified Development Code requires detailed documentation to justify demolition of significant historic structures. Thus, the requirement for the engineer's report. And the UDC also lists a feasibility report, comparison from refurbishing a structure versus demolishing and rebuilding. So we didn't receive any of that. That's why we recommended rejection. But I'm not sure what the study might suggest, refurbishing versus demolition.
Questions? Any more for staff? Okay. Do we have time for a rebuttal for?
Yes, I mean, like I said, there has not been an official engineer's report. To get one, the house was added onto in the back with a concrete block and stucco structure. It has a bunch of small rooms. It's wood, and there's a lot of exposed lath, cracks, black mold. To convert it to a priest residence would take a lot of work. I mean, it's basically 4 individual apartments is what they're looking at with cooking and all that. So doing that to this facility would be, I don't even know that it's possible. Be very, very difficult to do.
Okay. Questions? Why would it be any major different than any other building, any other home that you have to go in Central Gardens, in Becca, in different places to renovate?
Because this is not a traditional home.
I understand, but it can be gutted just like anything else.
It can be gutted, but it still has structural elements that will have to remain.
Because they didn't keep it up over the years?
No, the structural elements will have to remain to keep the building standing.
No, what I'm saying, though, is that as this has been going on with some letters from this agency since like 2001, that they were having issues of keeping it structurally sound back then. So some of that has to do with their neglect.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know can David talk to that with the diocese? I'm not privy to all that.
Okay, could you state your name?
Yes, I'm David Zaleski. My address is 1935 Felix Avenue, Memphis.
Okay. Right hand?
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So
I do.
help you God.
I do.
Okay.
We hear that a lot, that we haven't been taking care of it. And we have a lot of property that we have to try to take care of just for that square piece of property. Mm-hmm. And the church is made up of individual churches. So even though we're the Catholic Church of West Tennessee, we have 46 different locations. So we cannot take care of all these buildings. So each parish has to take care of its own, okay? And just like when a family loses a paycheck, you just have to make sacrifices. If there are 2 people working, a mom and a dad working, and mom gets laid off, you make sacrifices. You're not going to go on vacation you planned on. You're going to drive your car a little bit longer, even though you want to do that. Maybe your feelings about the vacation spot you've gone to every year is important to you, but you can't afford it. When these letters began in 2000, whatever, they had over 750 families going to that church. They have less than 300 now. So we've lost a paycheck. Mom or dad has lost their job. And so we're trying to figure out what can we spend our money on. We're making sure the church is working and is in good stead because it's the mother church for West Tennessee. We make sure that the priests have a place to stay because we're assigning them to that location. Beyond that, we're struggling to try to make ends meet. Hence why we're knocking down 4 buildings. We can't afford the insurance on them. We can't afford the cash flow on the utility. We can't afford to have a homeless person walk in and get hurt and sue us. We need to get rid of those 4 buildings. We've already been here to get the 3 knocked down. We left this one for last, but it's the same story. We don't have hundreds of millions of dollars. We don't have millions of dollars to do anything with this. It'd be very significantly challenging to take these 10 by 10 rooms, pull these out and turn it into anything else. The roof is crumbling. When we go in there, we have to wear a mask. It is in very, very bad disrepair, and there's just nothing we can do about it. If you don't let us tear it down, we'll do the best, but we'll probably be back next year to say we couldn't do anything and we need to knock it down. So it behooves us to knock down 4 buildings at one time instead of 3 now and a 4th one next year or the year after.
Okay, thank you. Question?
The other 3 buildings, are they also historic?
No. Were they in the 50s when they were built? Yeah. It's not old like that. Yeah.
Right, it's, you only have to be 50 years old to be historic, so.
70, we're up to 76, actually.
What's the period of significance for, say, Angel Gardens?
I
The period of significance for Central Gardens?
Periods of significance.
1972.
True. So were those three buildings built prior to 1972?
Yes.
They were, weren't they? Bill, the buildings we're gonna knock down that were approved, they were built prior to 72?
Well, just to clarify, those
They were built
actually,
in 1950s.
Yeah, that's been approved, yeah.
those
Once.
buildings came before the commission and were approved for
Yeah.
demolition prior to this. So this
This
is,
is the one in question, and it's.
Correct.
because
Right, this
it's
is the
been-
fourth of the 4 buildings we want to knock down.
That has been neglected
Right,
since
and when I, to
2000.
clarify, when I say historic, I meant were the other three on the National Register of
Yes.
Historic?
Yes.
Okay, okay.
So they're significant as far as the.
they were considered significant, yes.
Okay.
Has there been a cost analysis to compare renovating this building and turning it into 4 apartments versus tearing it down and building a new building with 4 apartments?
First off, walking through the building, we know that it's gonna be very expensive. Second, we may not build the other building. It's our 3rd phase of project for this campus, and we may not get to that. It depends on whether we raise the money and whether we have enough priests retiring to do that. The next project actually will be to try to move the chancery into one of the old school buildings so we don't have to knock it down. And then hopefully bring a little more life back to the campus by bringing the corporate office on site. And then 3 to 5 years later, then we'll take a look at whether or not we need the priest retirement space. We're not committed to doing that yet because we don't know if we're gonna do that. We just know that we need to knock that building down, and in working with the community, they wanted more green space for walking their dogs or playing or just visiting our campus, which we welcome. So that's what we're gonna do.
Any questions? Okay, thank you. Okay, I have one in support. It's, is it Lauren? I can't read the last name. Cliff? With, okay. Sorry.
Hi, Lauren With, 563 South McLean Boulevard.
You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth.
I do.
Thank you. Go ahead.
So I'm here to represent Central Gardens Association. We have met with the church numerous times over these buildings and their plans. I'm sorry. We never want to tear down a building. I mean, that's especially in Central Gardens, but we have walked through this building and it is a lot. Downstairs could probably have some work, but upstairs has really gotten a lot of damage water-wise, things like that. I'm also a realtor, so walking through and looking at this building, if I was gonna represent a homeowner living there, I would be very worried about the safety concerns. But again, we didn't want to tear it down. We didn't want them to tear it down at first, but we have had so many meetings with them, walked through the property. I don't know, it's hard to be able to swallow, but in the same sense, I don't think that IC can afford to keep it. And one of the big things that we discussed with them as well is if they were going to do this plan and if they were going to tear down this house, what were they going to do for the street of York? What was going on with York Avenue? And I'm so sorry. It is one of the things that they came back with was let us make this green area bigger for the neighborhood kids and dogs and families to be able to enjoy. I remember going to high school at St. Agnes and going down to IC, and it was a very vibrant church. And now there's just not as many people going there. And with the high school closing and the grade school closing, I think it's made funds very hard for them. So that's all I've got to say.
Thank you. Any questions? I went to St. Agnes too. right. Any question more for staff, or you want a motion?
Motion.
Okay.
Motion to approve COA 2026-020, 1682 York Avenue, Central Gardens Historic District.
Second, please.
Second.
Okay, discussion.
I had a slightly different interpretation of this. I've been to this campus and it is tired. The whole campus is tired. And I think that the approval of tearing the other 3 buildings down is good. New money needs to be invested in this campus. And I think that it will probably take time for the church to raise the money to do the improvements that they need. But the current improvements are across the whole campus are in pretty rough condition. And I just don't mind losing this structure. I think that they will come back with something great, or it'll be an amazing green space for the neighborhood in the meantime. I'm fine with their current plan as proposed.
The only thing that I say is, and this is personal, is that 2001, people have been trying to make them fix things. And it's gotten to this point to where it has to now be torn down, ideally, if we say. And I just think I'm driving downtown and that lovely building by Gus's is getting torn down right now because it's neglected. How much more of that, because people won't step up. 2001 is a long time ago, and do what they, and I don't usually say that, but to me, if it wants to be spiritual, this is a church. That's a building, and buildings are spiritual too, and spiritual to the neighborhoods. So that's just my thought on it. It's just kind of an emotional thing.
Can I speak to that?
No, not
Okay.
right now. I'm sorry. This
That's
is
okay.
us right now.
Okay.
And then we'll let you in a second.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
I was just gonna say, I hear what's being said. I understand that it's in disrepair. They can't keep it up. Part of it, to me, is take the first step and at least try to get an engineer's report that says that it is non-livable, or so that you have that backup to say, okay, we need to tear it down because we have this report that says you can't live in this building and it needs to be torn down. But to Brown's point, I get it, but if that happens and it stands and they still don't have the money or the people to take care of it, it's going to continue to get into more and more disarray. So I don't know. Right.
And if we have, and the other thing when you brought that up is that if we don't ask for an engineer report or whatever on that specific house, then what precedent are we setting for the next person who says, we can't afford to redo this? Because we think it's going to crumble anyway, or it's going to take that much more to do. Just have something to back up what if we okay this.
So I wonder if in the congregation.
Are you on?
No, I was just going to say, is there?
No.
Oh, sorry. Is there a structural engineer in the congregation or someone in another church that would be willing to come over and do this maybe at a better rate?
Well, we'll ask that,
Yeah, I concur. I feel like we definitely need to get an engineer's report, particularly given that the Central Gardens guidelines have a decision tree of when a demolition is appropriate and what needs to happen after the demolition happens, if it does happen. And part of that tree is all about structural integrity. So I feel like we need the paperwork for the structural integrity to even get to the step of whether or not it's a demolish, a not demolish, is it a replace with another historic design, or is it complete demolition with no plan in place? Because right now we're thinking 15 years, and they may or may not build some apartments.
Okay.
I think that sounds reasonable.
If we're going to put our stamp of approval on it, we still have to have a backbone of that to say, to me, not willy-nilly yes, because.
But we've done our due diligence.
Right.
And so have they.
Yeah.
Right. The church has done the due diligence as well.
Right.
And then we have the precedent set, you've got to come in with a structural report,
Yeah.
and either flies or it doesn't.
Can we move to hold the case and that they have come back with a structural report to be reheard?
Yes, I think that would be a good suggestion. If that's what the body would like to have, which it sounds like there's some support for that, there you could make a motion to hold the case for a month and request that additional information for an engineer's report.
Okay.
I mean, I think that sounds like a good compromise as opposed to trying to get a full set of plans and all that stuff. If you can just get that report.
Then we have something to.
Yeah.
I feel like the report's gonna say what they expect it to say, but it does give us the,
I just don't want it to come back
yeah.
and, you mean on, as a precedent that, and because it would be on, I mean, things come to us already that we didn't set.
Yeah.
That people think we're responsible for. So that's just my thought, that to my thought on that too, I'd agree to that. But do we want to open?
Well, I mean, if you want to make a motion to, if anyone wants to make that motion to hold the case and request that, we can do that.
I can make that motion.
Okay.
So I move to hold the case for 1 month, so in order for them to produce a engineer's report for structural integrity.
Second?